Hey folks, welcome to the channel. I want to talk today about sales and taxes. Today's that day, April 15th. Everyone should have filed their taxes by now. And so I'm going to share a little bit of information that I know. I am not a licensed CPA, so please take this with a grain of salt. I share my experience and what we do. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So we're going to talk about sales and taxes. So let's get into it. If you see me looking a little bit off camera, I have two monitors set up over here, and I'm going to be pulling up some data from the right monitor and share some details and information with you. I hope you find this video informative. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so currently the sales that I'm going to talk about are on eBay, Whatnot, Facebook Marketplace, and Amazon. Almost forgot that one. Amazon. And across the board, all the sales for 2023 I'm talking about. So from January the 1st to 2023 to December 31st, 2023, sales were up. So I'm going to share some detailed stuff. And, people always ask, well, Pat, what do you sell? And I'll give you kind of also then when it comes to talking about the taxes, how things are structured and how things are handled, and basically what we're expensing. And again, I am not a licensed CPA, so take anything I say, don't take it as, oh, that's everybody has their own particular situation on how their company or how they do their taxes set up. If you're unfamiliar with it, I say the best thing to do is talk to a CPA. It's not that complicated as you might think. A lot of times, if you're just selling on one platform and you're doing it as a sole proprietor, like Joe Smith doing business as eBay, you can do that very easily using TurboTax. So on eBay, our sales were up huge for 2023, and what do I attribute that to? Listing. I was listing every day up until May. Every day I was listing. And then unfortunately, some things happened on a personal level. Family things happened and helping somebody out. And a couple months later, some health issues with me. That slowed down that. So I probably would have been up more. But just really pushing, to list. And you can't sell it if it's not listed. So there's just certain things that it seems to be if there's a demand for it and the price is right, you'll sell it. So I'm going to share some stuff that I sell and why that category did good, and some items sold. So on 2023, I'm going to share some numbers with you guys. We sold approximately $40,000 on eBay. Is that a lot? I don't know. Some people it's not. There's people that sell $250,000. I'm just telling you that it was a huge spike for us. It was our best year on eBay. Quantity sold, and this is very important because this gives you your average price, because you could sell. I sell baseball cards. I sell postcards, but it's that average ticket. That is very important. So quantity sold was 1,694 items. That was up 104%. Average sale price was $23.50. It actually said the average sale price was down 40% from the year before. And I think that was because the year before there were some bigger ticket items at Christmas time sold, some bigger $50, $60 toys that I didn't sell this past year. So I think that's what it breaks down to. So total buyers was 1,183. That was up 54.6%. The breakdown was one-time buyers was 52.8%, and repeat buyers was actually up. It was only 40. Repeat buyers was up actually 135%. So that gives that the breakdown. Now, sales by category Home and garden was our biggest. That was almost $5,000, and the big attribute that the big was basically to Christmas lights that I sold at Christmas time. I did very well with those. I had bought Christmas lights around January, February of 2023, and sold some a little bit here and out the year. But once November came in, and even right up to a week before Christmas, I was selling lights like crazy. I still have probably 3 cases left, and occasionally will sell a box or two. So some of the lights, from what I understand, they came from Target. I had bought them by the pallet, and they couldn't find those lights. And I sometimes people buying them by the case. So the next big item, around $4,000, was inflatable mattresses and airbeds. I had gotten them from another reseller that used to sell on Amazon. Doesn't sell those products no more. Got a good deal, and those were nice because those were $50 to $75 items. So that was nice. The next item was cell phone and accessories. Those were cables and adapters. I had a connection with a guy that reached out to me through FedEx, and they needed certain charging cables that were strong, and I happen to have those. And again, that was another item that was bought off pallets that came from Target. So number 1 and number 3 in sales were 2 items that came off of liquidation pallets from Target. Unfortunately, this year, 2024, those things are not here no more. So this year right now, honestly, it's looking down on as far as eBay. So that was $1,600. The next item was Legos. I had sold about $1,600 worth of Legos on eBay. This is the next item at 3% was jeans, men's jeans, and those were another item that I found from Target. So I'll run down real quick. Toys, action figures, home and garden vases, T-shirts was almost $1,000. Clothing and accessories actually was down. That was only 14% from the year, and that's the one that really stands out because the lights was up 1,000%. The cell phones was up 100%. The airbeds was up. So the jeans was up 160. Vases was up 100%. T-shirts was up 33%. Women's pants up 100%. Now we're starting to get into numbers, though, that are less than 2% of sales, but they still add it to the bottom line. So I would say probably 35-40% of the stuff I got came off of pallets. Now here's one that was funny because I'm like, wow, I just saw this number. $425, up 394%. It was a scanner. And then I remember, that's right, I had gotten a nice scanner from Staples, and that I had sold, and so that was one sale. That was something new. Dolls, that's where it was down 75%. Dolls was down 75%. Magazines, vintage memorabilia, up 40%. Now we're all in the single digits. Stocks and bonds, I still sold $383 worth of stocks and bonds. At $8 to $10, those things are fine. So it's nice that eBay can kind of give you a breakdown of really. I just went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, it's about 22 categories. So let me break down. Basically, shipping and handling was $9,700. Taxes and government fees $2,300. So my selling cost was almost $15,000, 37.2% of total sales. So eBay fees were $6,370. Shipping labels was $8,458. So that came out to, again, so 37.2% of sales right off the top went for eBay and shipping and taxes and government fees. So that's one thing I don't like is when, and I think I wasn't sure if they were going to change that or not. I think they were going to tweak that now the sales didn't represent the taxes or the shipping. I thought I saw something, but don't quote me. So, 39,000, yeah, almost $40,000 on eBay. So, but there again, you got shipping and handling almost, so 30, there's $10,000 right off the top. So I want to real quick talk about the taxes. Today is April 15th, and you should have filed your taxes now. And now, if you're set up as an LLC, now personally, on a personal level, we have ours set up. I say we because I don't own the LLC outright. It's owned by my son, and he was part of that. And I always wanted something that if transition, he could still own, because we do basically through the LLC. Whatnot and Amazon sales are done through that, and eBay is done through just a regular Schedule C on our personal tax return. When you do a Amazon, we had to have a company anyway, so that was done through an LLC. So, but the expenses are very similar. It's just a different way how things are taxed, on and how you have it set up and how the pass through is and what happens there. When you do have an LLC, probably a lot of times you probably do need an accountant, and it gets expensive. I mean, usually a minimum of $800 to sometimes $2,000 it could be. Depending upon how many sales and how complicated the tax return is, and then you got to issue special Ks to stockholders and stuff like that. So I want to give you the breakdown as far as, and this is really common as far as eBay, as far as breakdown of expenses that we take. One of the things that we advertising, and that could be something as promoted fees, or if you're sharing your link out on Facebook and you're promoting it to come and visit you, that's an advertising expense. Car expenses basically you keep track of your miles. So when you go, for example, to the flea market or Walmart or even the post office to drop packages off, or you go to Staples to pick up boxes, or again, I'm going to the liquidation warehouse to, you keep track of your miles. And because those are all, and I'm not quite sure what, you keep track of your miles you put in there. I think it's around 60 some cents right now. The commissions and fees are basically what the selling cost is to sell on eBay. Legal fees are if you have to use your attorney to do something for the business, and you could deduct the legal fees. Office expense could be something computer related, paper related, things like that. You need a new telephone. If you upgrade your computer, you can, that's an office expense. Equipment, you can have an equipment expense. Again, that would, if you need a new printer, a new laptop to do your stuff. Supplies, especially in this, is tape, boxes, bubble wrap, the paper, taxes. The taxes that basically you're charged. Maybe where you live, you have to pay a, if you're renting. You see, that's where it's different from everybody. Because if you're renting a spot, then you might have to pay a different tax to have that business set up. Taxes are this, like the sales tax, that because you report your total sales, and then you report like the sales tax paid, because then that comes off. Meals. Now, don't go crazy with this, because if you're out on the road, for example, if I travel 2 hours away and I happen to go the Subway and I buy a sandwich for $10, keep that receipt, because you can deduct. I think when we had done ours, it allowed you 50%. So in a year's time, if you spent $500 on meals while you're doing business, you get to deduct 50% of that. The phone, the internet, so if you need your cell phone or your office phone to use for the business, eBay and you're doing a lot of, because a lot of things people are buying on, you can deduct that. So a couple, one of the big things is cost of goods. Cost of goods. Oh, and that was another thing and that refers more to Whatnot is, I promote the show, so promotion fees, advertising, that you could put that under. Shipping as far as the postage that's paid to FedEx, UPS, or the post office to ship your products. Keep in mind, if you give any refunds, if you're giving a refund, especially on Amazon, if you're giving, if your total sales, for example, are 50,000, but it says you gave a refund of $1,500 because people put a claim in, something's broke or gets sent back, you can deduct that. Amazon fees, what Amazon charges, just like eBay charges. Cost of goods is basically very simple. What you pay to buy the stuff. So if you go out and you buy this marker for $1 and you sell it for $2, your cost of goods would be $1. So you keep your statements from, maybe you use your credit cards, or you keep the receipts, and that is your cost of goods, and it can add up. I break it down. I may have a total fine number of what my total cost of goods, but on a personal level, I'll break it down to, like, if I go to 7 or 8 different places most of the time, I'll break, like if I go to Goodwill, for example, I go to Salvation Army. Let's say I did a buyout of a store that closed down. One year we bought Modell's. I may put Modell's and break. So if my cost of goods, for example, is $15,000, I may have broken down to, all right, and even if you're going to yard sales, keep track. Have a little notebook that maybe you write your miles down, and you could put in there, okay, I spent $12 on this Saturday buying, stuff at the local, don't go crazy. Don't, I bought, I sold $100,000 worth of stuff, but I spent $150,000 on garage sales, because you're going to get red flagged by doing stuff like that. Bank fees. Is the bank charging you statement fees per month to issue your statements? Are you paying interest? So on your credit card, or if you borrowed money. One of the expenses that I have that not everybody will have is U-Haul. So I rent U-Hauls to go pick up pallets. That's an expense for me, and then I also included in that U-Haul is the gas to put in that U-Haul. So I have UPS box rent and US postal. So I have a box at the UPS store. So when things get returned or delivered there, I can deduct that. Storage fees. So if you have a storage unit where you're keeping some of your supplies, that's something else that you could deduct. So I probably outlined at least 15 different items that you can deduct. And, and it really matters, because, if you're not keeping track of those things, and let's say, you're $10,000, and you make it that it falls under 25%, you're going to pay $2,500 more in taxes. It's not about what you pull in, because a lot of businesses, let's be honest, a lot of businesses could pull in $100,000 but net 10%. That's about $10,000. Now, doing this, there's a lot of things that we can deduct that regular people at a job, we use our cell phone for business. A lot of people have cell phones that just go to a regular job. They can't deduct their cell phone. We can, because we, are doing online sales, eBay, and we're using our phone a lot and using email. We're conducting business on it. So that can be right there alone a major expense that, you can deduct. So, all right, guys, I wanted to keep it. Did I keep it? 19 minutes it says we're at. So I wanted to talk about business being up, which it is. I'm very appreciative. eBay was the driving factor. Amazon was up a little bit. Whatnot was up because it's a new thing. So I'll make videos later on talking this year how Whatnot really is growing for me, and we have that wrapped up into our LLC with Amazon. And that is taken off, and eBay's going to be down, and so is Amazon actually, because I had sold something last year on Amazon, a $400 Lego set that I don't have this year. So I wanted to share. Oh, that's one thing I almost forgot, is when you have an LLC, and I've made this mistake before, and trust me, it gets expensive. You have to April 15th isn't your day. March 15th is your day. So you have to get those taxes in by March 15th. I made a mistake one year that, okay, we filed an extension, and I thought, oh, October. No, even for the business is September. And let me tell you, the penalty for filing late is $400 per shareholder. So if you have 3 people in there, it could be $1,200 just for filing late, whether you owe taxes or not. And a lot of times when you file, the special K is being given to the shareholders, and then they file when they do their personal tax return. So the IRS is not your friend. It's very hard to navigate when you start. That's why I think a lot of people sometimes are turned off, not just because of shipping, because of the tax consequences and the paperwork that's all involved in doing sales. Now, I didn't even mention, if you sell at the flea market or yard sale, things like that, you can always keep in mind too, and I'm not reading from a script as I think about this. Look, if you're selling personal items that you have over the years, you keep track of that. You won't have to pay taxes. So if you sold $10,000 worth of your own personal things, you keep track. Hey, look, I sold a old Matchbox car for $5. I paid $5 for it. You just keep track that. Okay, so if I sold, let's say, $10,000, estimated cost of goods was $10,000. As long as it's reasonable and you're not saying, well, I'm selling $1 million worth of stuff every 3-4 years and I paid $1 million. Well, they're going to be like, okay, how'd you pay $1 million for that stuff if your income was only $40,000 for the last 10 years, and prior to that it was nothing? So it's got to make sense. So don't do stuff that is going to throw red flags up and have the IRS sending you letters. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So I have a lot of experience stuff with taxes, good and bad, because I used to be in the restaurant business, and this is relatively easy doing reselling as far as the tax. When you start getting into paying employees and workman's comp and unemployment and sales tax and property tax and all that type of stuff, it really can get complicated. That's another thing, is I don't take an office deduction expense. I don't get into that. It's not even worth the hassle, because you could do that in a proportion of your electric and this and that, and then when you go to sell your house, you gotta, I'm like, no, I don't even want that complication, because again, the IRS coming, breathing, questioning everything. That I try not to push the envelope and keep it very simple and simplified with the expenses that I share with you. So I think 2024 overall, as far as sales wise, will be flat or okay. I don't think they'll be down just because I'm aggressively pushing whatnot, but it's a grind. I still think overall I'm probably at around the same amount of sales right now up until as I was last year, just lower, working much harder for the sales. So, but that's what you have to do. You have to adapt and overcome that, and what are you going to do? So, guys, give me a thumbs up. I hope you found this video helpful. If don't give up if you're reselling and you enjoy it. And if you have any questions or comments, comment down below. And I appreciate your support. Man, we're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and it's a grind. 1 here, 2 there, 1 here. So subscribe to the channel, and appreciate your support. All right.